Abu Musa Island, Strait of Hormuz. 4:18 in the morning. Complete darkness, absolute silence. 8 United States Marines on a reconnaissance operation, collecting critical intelligence about Iranian military installations. Without warning, Iranian Revolutionary Guard vessels emerged from the shadows. 12 heavily armed speedboats, encircling the island with one objective: capture the American Marines by any means necessary. Tehran's assessment seems straightforward. Marines isolated on a remote island, vastly outnumbered with no escape route available. However, Iranian commanders were unaware of 3 critical factors. These weren't regular infantry Marines. They belonged to Force Reconnaissance, the Marine Corps' elite Special Operations Unit. The USS Bataan, a massive amphibious assault ship carrying 2,000 Marines, was positioned just 30 nautical miles offshore. And most importantly, the United States military never abandons its warriors in combat zones. The events that unfolded over the next 43 minutes would become one of the most dramatic Marine rescue operations in recent military history. This is what really happened that night. Abu Musa Island represents nothing more than a small piece of land in the Strait of Hormuz. Covering barely 2 square miles, yet its strategic significance cannot be overstated. Iran maintains control, claims sovereignty, and has heavily militarized this territory. The island's location places it directly within the major shipping corridors, where approximately 20% of the world oil supply passes within just miles of its coastline. For several months, American intelligence agencies had been monitoring a concerning Iranian military expansion on the island. Missile defense batteries, advanced radar installations, and fast attack boat facilities. Iran was systematically converting Abu Musa into a militarized stronghold, essentially creating a strategic choke point threatening international maritime commerce. On December 8th at midnight, 8 Force Reconnaissance Marines conducted an insertion onto the island. Their assignment: capture photographic evidence of Iranian military positions, collect actionable intelligence, and evacuate before sunrise. This was designed as a silent infiltration operation with no anticipated combat engagement. The timeline allowed 4 hours for completion. The team successfully landed at 12:45 a.m. under strict radio silence protocols. Utilizing night vision equipment, they moved like shadows through Iranian-controlled terrain. By 3:30 a.m., they had accomplished their primary objectives. Every Iranian position photographed, GPS coordinates marked, missile installation locations confirmed. Helicopter extraction was scheduled for 4:30 a.m. The plan appeared flawless. At precisely 4:18 a.m., the entire operation was compromised. An Iranian patrol unit detected their presence. 12 Revolutionary Guard boats launched simultaneously from the island's harbor facilities. The Marines were positioned on the beach, awaiting their extraction helicopter. They were exposed and completely visible. Contact. Multiple hostile forces approaching. 12 vessels. Request immediate support. Any available assets respond. The response arrived within seconds, though not from the Bataan as expected, from an unexpected source. Devil Dogs, this is Viper Flight. 2 F-35s 30 seconds from your position. Take cover immediately and maintain position. At 4:19 a.m., 2 F-35 Lightning II stealth fighters roared across Abu Musa Island at 500 knots, executing low-altitude aggressive passes. The Iranian boats immediately broke formation. Revolutionary Guard commanders transmitted urgent orders amid obvious confusion and panic throughout their ranks. The fighter jets held their fire. They didn't require weapons deployment. Their mere presence fundamentally altered the tactical situation. Iranian vessels, this is United States Marine Corps aircraft. You have entered our weapons engagement zone. We strongly recommend immediate course reversal. The boats reduced speed and began turning, but complete retreat didn't follow. They possessed information the Marines lacked. Additional reinforcements were en route. At 4:21 a.m., 3 additional Iranian boats deployed. Then 6 more vessels launched, followed by 12 more. Within minutes, 33 Iranian Revolutionary Guard boats had established a complete perimeter around the island. This had escalated beyond a routine patrol encounter. This represented a full assault force deployment. Tehran had issued direct orders: capture those American Marines. The United States military was already mobilizing massive resources. USS Bataan, positioned 28 miles away, immediately transitioned to full combat alert status. 2,000 Marines, 50 helicopters, 20 amphibious assault vehicles began advancing toward Abu Musa Island. At 4:23 a.m., 4 AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters departed from the Bataan, equipped with Hellfire missiles, rocket pods, and 20mm cannons. At 4:25 a.m., 2 V-22 Osprey tiltrotor aircraft followed, transporting 40 combat-ready Marines prepared for hostile extraction operations. At 4:27 a.m., the first Viper helicopters arrived over Abu Musa. The 8 Marines on the beach observed as 4 American attack helicopters established defensive positions between their location and the Iranian naval forces. Viper Flight to Devil Dogs, you have our full protection. Extraction birds inbound. 2 minutes. The Iranians refused to withdraw. At 4:29 a.m., an Iranian boat commander made a catastrophic tactical decision. He ordered his vessels to beach directly on the island. Iranian Revolutionary Guards began disembarking into shallow water, weapons raised, advancing toward the Marine position. 60 Iranian soldiers on foot moving forward. 300 meters enclosing. Captain Webb's radio transmitted. Devil Dogs, you are authorized to engage. Defend your position. The 8 reconnaissance Marines established defensive firing positions, weapons aimed, holding fire, 200 meters. 150 meters. At 100 meters distance, the Iranian commander shouted in English, "Surrender now. This is your final warning." Captain Webb's response was broadcast on open-frequency channels, ensuring everyone monitoring could hear clearly. Iranian boats, American helicopters, the Bataan, everyone. Marines don't surrender. If you want us, come and take us. For 5 full seconds, absolute stillness. Iranian troops frozen in position, American Marines prepared and ready. Then came the unmistakable sound of massive rotor blades, overwhelming and powerful. 2 V-22 Ospreys descended rapidly onto the beach, rear ramps dropping instantly. 40 Marines deploying full combat equipment, establishing security perimeter immediately. The 8 reconnaissance Marines sprinted toward the aircraft, protected by their fellow warriors. Iranian troops maintained their positions, rifles raised, but not a single shot was discharged. 4 Viper attacks. Within hours, Iranian state media claimed victory. Revolutionary Guards successfully expelled American infiltrators from Iranian sovereign territory. They broadcast footage of their boats and troops, claiming they had driven away the Marines through superior force. The international community witnessed entirely different footage. The Pentagon released video documentation from the F-35 fighters showing Iranian boats scattering in disarray, showing the successful rescue operation, showing Marines extracted safely while 60 Iranian troops could do nothing except observe helplessly. Global media analysis proved devastating for Iran's narrative. Headlines worldwide. Iran unable to capture 8 U.S. Marines despite overwhelming numerical advantage. Marines extracted successfully, while Iranian forces watched powerlessly. Tehran's humiliation, 60 troops versus 8 Marines. Marines victorious. The real consequences extended far beyond tactical embarrassment. For years, Iran has publicly claimed absolute control over the Strait of Hormuz, repeatedly threatened to close these waterways, consistently harassed commercial shipping and seized multiple tankers. Abu Musa Island represented their symbol of regional dominance. Iranian-controlled territory, heavily militarized, supposedly impenetrable to foreign forces. And the United States successfully inserted Marines, conducted comprehensive reconnaissance operations, and extracted them safely while Iranian military forces watched helplessly. The message to Tehran was crystal clear. Your island security is penetrable. Your strait remains open. Your military cannot prevent our operations. Within days, broader regional implications materialized. The United Arab Emirates announced joint military exercises with U.S. Marines, specifically planning amphibious operations and practicing island assault scenarios. Qatar, typically cautious about antagonizing Iran, significantly increased cooperation with U.S. Central Command. Iran's neighboring nations observed what transpired. If America can successfully extract 8 Marines while surrounded by 60 Iranian troops, Tehran's military capabilities aren't as formidable as their propaganda claims. The most significant response emerged from within Iran itself. Intelligence sources reported intense disputes within Revolutionary Guard command structures. Junior officers questioning leadership. Why didn't we capture them? We had 8-to-1 numerical superiority. Senior commanders responding honestly, because 4 American attack helicopters and 2 F-35 fighters would have annihilated our entire force. The uncomfortable truth. That represents the reality Iran refuses to publicly acknowledge. They possess the capability to attack, could have attempted capturing those Marines, but the cost would have proven catastrophic. 33 boats destroyed, 60 troops killed, and achieving what exactly? 8 Marines who would be rescued regardless by the 2,000 additional Marines approaching behind them. Iran backed down once again. Abu Musa Island matters significantly because it exposes the fundamental weakness in Iran's military strategy. For decades, Tehran has depended on asymmetric warfare tactics. Fast attack boats, swarming maneuvers, harassment operations, vessel seizures. These methods prove effective against defenseless commercial shipping. Civilian tankers cannot return fire. Crews surrender rather than face potential death. Against United States military forces, such tactics represent suicide. Those 8 Marines weren't helpless civilian sailors on a commercial tanker. They were force reconnaissance warriors, elite operators, each individual Marine worth 10 regular infantry soldiers. And critically, they weren't isolated. Never alone. Those F-35 fighters that arrived within 30 seconds had been monitoring the entire mission continuously. Invisible on radar, watching everything, ready for immediate response. The attack helicopters on standby alert, engines running, pilots strapped in cockpits. The Ospreys carrying 40 Marines pre-positioned, rehearsed extensively, trained specifically for exactly this scenario. This represents what Iran confronts every time they challenge U.S. military forces. Not merely the troops they can observe, but the invisible integrated network supporting them. Satellites, unmanned drones, aircraft, naval vessels, marines, an entire military machine that responds within minutes to protect every single American service member deployed worldwide. Iran lacks this capability. Revolutionary Guards operate with independent command structures. No integrated command systems, no rapid response capabilities. Those 60 troops on Abu Musa Island watched helplessly as 8 Marines escaped because they had zero air support, no backup forces, no contingency planning. This explains why Iran seizes defenseless tankers but consistently avoids U.S. warships. Why they harass commercial vessels but immediately retreat when Navy destroyers appear on radar. They cannot prevail in direct military confrontation, therefore they avoid such engagements entirely. Abu Musa proves something additional. America maintains capability to conduct operations anywhere, even deep inside Iranian-controlled territory. If Marines can successfully insert onto Abu Musa, collect comprehensive intelligence, and extract under Iranian observation, what other operations could American special forces execute? Strike Iranian nuclear facilities? Previously accomplished. Destroy Iranian missile production sites? Entirely possible. Rescue hostages from Tehran itself? Iranian leadership is now considering that exact question. This represents psychological warfare at its most effective level. Iran intended to demonstrate control over the strait. Instead, they demonstrated complete impotence. That proves more damaging than any conventional military defeat. The final count. 4:18 a.m. Abu Musa Island. 8 Marines surrounded by 60 Iranian troops with nowhere to retreat. 4:31 a.m. 13 minutes later. 8 Marines successfully extracted. 0 casualties sustained, 0 shots fired by either force. Mission accomplished completely. Today, those same Marines continue conducting operations throughout the Middle East region.